Glenn, great to meet you and congratulations on such a beautiful film.
Thank you, Serena. Nice to meet you too.
When was the moment when you were reading the script that you went, yep, this is it, I'm in?
Well, for me, I was on an airplane well, I knew that I wanted to do this movie when I was reading about Fei Fei. I love these characters that believe the impossible is possible, and I connected with her. Like, I know this character. Characters in my past have been that, like Beast and Ariel, and I felt like I want to live in this girl's skin. I want to animate this character. And it was in reading about her wanting to build this rocket. Um, as a kid, I loved the idea that you could build something like that, travel to the moon. It was just so fanciful and crazy. But on the other hand, can a 12-year-old really build a rocket to the moon? And Walt Disney always talked about the plausible impossible. And there's a point where the rocket takes off and it's going off, and I'm thinking, yes, this is wonderful, but you, I don't know, is it really going to work? And then in Audrey's script, then something goes wrong, and she starts to fall to earth. And when that happens, I'm like, yes, I believe it now. But save her somehow. And that's where you can bring in the magic. And it was at reading at that point in the first act of this movie, I realized Audrey Wells is a genius. I love the way she writes. I want to do this movie.
So you signed on, you got the cast, you got the crew, and everything was going so well. And then the pandemic hit, and you guys hadn't finished production of this film. What did you do?
We we were in the Netflix building. We had about 120 animators working on it up in Vancouver. We had our whole team here in LA and a team in Shanghai. Every Friday was a deadline. You are counting every day. I mean, how are we going to finish this movie? And then 11:30 in the morning, Jenny Rim, my producer, said, Netflix is shutting down. We have to all leave the building. And still hit our deadline on Friday. This was a Thursday. Um,
Gosh.
I mean, they weren't harsh that way. It was just the reality. The film was coming out. How are we going to do it? So we all went to our homes. I went up into the mountains where I had no internet. Zero point 0.7 was my speed on my internet, but I had to direct from there. People's faces would freeze. They'd be talking, and then on my monitor, they're frozen for 20 seconds, and that was always happening. And I knew that I got really good at guessing what happened in 20 seconds and how I pick it up. But the passion of this crew to be able to deliver this film was really remarkable. That I think we learned the lessons of the film about no barriers, that nothing is going to stop you, especially with a film with this kind of meaning and importance.
I was going to say it is so what you went through. I wish you didn't have to, but it is fitting of this film. And I love what you've said about this time, that you were all separated, but there was an unexpected impact of quarantine, and that was the sense of intimacy. How could you guys be so intimate when you were scattered all over the world?
Well, because we had shared such a common bond in the beginning parts of the making this film, there's something about looking into each other's eyes. When you are animating, it's the eyes of Fei Fei. It's the eyes of each character. And when we were meeting on Zoom, it was the eyes that you look deeply into one another's eyes and you communicate. I drew constantly, showing drawings up on the screen. And, I think it's the intent that you really focused on one another and gave everything that you could. There was something about the fact that this film was being made in homes, and
Mm.
and even now that it's going to be streaming into people's living rooms, it's an intimate film. It's a kind of film that touches the heart of a family. And it seems appropriate that this movie is being presented around the world in living rooms.
Well, I watched this at home with my family and we felt that intimacy. Thank you so much, Glenn, for allowing us to enjoy this in our homes.
Thank you so much, Serena.